Welcome back to the Jupiter Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Franklin. Today we have on Mr. Derin Franks from the great state of Alabama. He's going to get into a Bigfoot, a Sasquatch encounter that he had, I believe, in the state. I'm pretty sure. I think it was in the state itself. If you keep finding yourself coming back to the Jupiter Podcast and you enjoy the content that I produce, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. You can also find me on Rumble. You can also find me on Spotify. You can also find me on Reddit and a couple other places as well. Just go ahead and look for the name, type it in your Google bar, and you'll find me there. If you are in the market for t-shirts and hats, well, let me tell you, friends, I got t-shirts and hats as well as posters for you as well. I'm pretty sure this is going to be coming around right around Christmas, but you know, anytime you guys want to, scare your grandma or, give yourself a little treat, go ahead and do me a favor. Go ahead and click on the link in the description and it will take you right to my t-shirts and it will order and come directly to you. So with all that being said, oh, yeah. Every Wednesday, I have a live podcast at 7 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesday, and you can go ahead and check that out as well. So with that being said, all the stuff that I have to get out of the way, let's welcome to the Eye of Jupiter, Mr. Derin Franks.
Mr. Derin Franks.
So, Derin, tell me, I was contacted by a good friend of ours, mutual, comrade, Mr. Daryl. Yeah. Yes. And he was like, hey, Tom, I got somebody for you. He's had an encounter and he wants to talk about it. And you were so gracious as to contact. I think I contacted you and I think we telephoned real quick. We called each other. Yeah. And you were a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks for coming on, buddy.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here. We, like you and me hit it off right from the get-go. Me and Daryl did too. I can't say enough about what happened. I hate to get into everything happens for a reason or whatever. But when you go through what a lot of us have been through, especially hey man, any traumatic experience will open your mind and like you going overseas and things that we've been through, Daryl's been through. It just kind of gives you a sense of being an empath more than a little bit of an empath, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You feel things more. It opens up your mind. It opens up makes you alert to the things. And when I say that,
let me ask you a question. Do you have anything that you're promoting right quick? Do you have you have a page, you have a book, you have something that you're promoting at the moment?
The one thing I do have that I've told on another podcast, I've got a tracking system for archery hunting that I'll be coming out with next year. It's in if it does probably a projection say, I hope that it would do. I hope it'll do for the archery hunting what the scope done for rifle hunting.
When you get that out in production or it's been all the thumbs up, just let me know and I'll promote it on my show, man. No problem.
Right. Sure, we'll chat about it
myself when I was a kid.
No,
go ahead. Please. I'm sorry.
Oh no, man, we're interrupting each other. I know we're both excited to finally be talking to each other, and so
we're good.
Daryl, let's start right here because I'm gonna get this out of the way. So my had my encounter after, and I'll tell you the story after I had my encounter. I was ridiculed. I was closed in. I was just confused, about what had happened, and so. That was in 2017. In 2022, I had a podcaster that he's a pioneer of the whole Bigfoot Sasquatch podcast, that's helped everybody with like-minded people and experiences carry on Bigfoot Odyssey. Carry on. We lost Carrie, 2 years, about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. The freak truck accident was crazy.
Wow.
And
rest in peace,
but man, he instantly became my friend, and got me to come on. He said, Darren, you got to come on, man. He said, I went through the same thing, which also a terrifying encounter he had with an aggressive Sasquatch in Mississippi. And I recommend everybody listen to. You can find it on Bigfoot Odyssey. They still got it on the YouTube here. And so anyway, he called me and he got me to come on. And I realized, he said, man, you just come on. Something about bringing it out into the light. On this podcast, making it public, he said it takes away the stress of it. I trust him, and I went on his podcast, and of course I was nervous and everything, but man, it's just like talking to a brother that's been through the same thing, and he was right. It took a tremendous weight off my shoulders, I started learning more about what had happened to me by being around other people that had similar experiences. And of
Mm.
course, lost, like I said, lost curious. And so I just mumbled around, and that really kept me to the bone because, like, he was like popped out of nowhere and saved my, saved me kind of. And but then, so about a year and a half ago, I'm watching YouTube and I listen. I hear Daryl Denton's account, which is amazingly similar to what happened to Carrie Arnold, and it resonated with me so much that I started checking this dude out. Found out he had a Facebook group, which is
Yeah.
coming up on 50,000
I
people.
think
It's at
it's
48,000, almost 49,000 members right now.
Bigfoot believers, and other creatures.
That's it. So if anybody's watching this, and you want
Yeah, go check him
like
out. It's a great group.
kind of, yes,
Sweet
no
guy,
ridicule,
greatest
man.
guy in the
Safe,
world. Sweet guy.
yes,
Love Daryl.
safe zone. Safe zone. He's finally got to where, man, it doesn't matter what it is. If you've got UFO encounters, because we're kind of figuring out all this stuff is kind of connected in a bigger way. I'm sure
Right.
that we'll all probably see later the way it's going. But anyway, I was glad to be in the group, glad to meet Daryl. So here I am, man, meeting you. About all the guys, and Ron Moorhead's in the group. He's the godfather with the Sierra Sounds. To
Yes,
me,
I've interviewed Ron Moorhead. Yes.
Yeah, you see.
Yes, I
To
have.
me, it's like meeting Elvis. Because when it comes to the Bigfoot community, I've totally been indulged in ever since 2015. All these people like M.K. Davis, bro. M.K.
Right.
Davis, in my opinion, has got the best video evidence of anything you've ever seen.
Yeah, you sent a lot to me. It was very interesting.
Yes.
I've been
So,
looking into it. Yes.
yeah, I'm trying to make this quick, but MK Davis, Green Wave 2010 at his YouTube channel. He met these people in Texas that had a ranch, and they had these creatures on their property, and they started habituating them. Everybody's heard of like Why These Run, the fence climber video, the one I shared with you, which is two of them pushing each other around because they give them these tires to play with, and then a big one comes out and scares these two off. And MK he done so much work on the Patterson them. When you see it nowadays, and it's enhanced, and they're showing muscle movement, there's no way it can be a guy in a suit. MK's the one that done that. Yeah, it kind of possessed him for like 10 years. But anyway, he's a great guy. He's in Mississippi. He was an astrophotographer. Really smart, and he talks country. So, and I got from him. Well, I talk slow, but I ain't slow. But just a southern drawl. Okay, we'll be talking about that art. So anyway, let's just move forward here because I'll get into this. So, unless you got any questions, I'll go ahead and start.
No, I'm M.K. Davis, Daryl Denton,
Great.
Martin Groves, all these great
Martin
gentlemen. We
Groves.
know them. Yes, another fantastic
Nice.
person. Scott Carpenter, all
Yes.
the great Bigfoot researchers as well as experiencers
Yes.
of dogmen and alike. Yes.
Martin. The amazing thing about Martin Groves is he goes out in the woods with a little lantern like you would carry in the coal miner days. Oil lantern. That's it. He does not take a phone. He does not take nothing. When he wants to see what these things are doing, he just goes there and sits. Yeah. And they come around him and they start.
He has plenty of books. Go check out Martin Groves, and a fantastic person.
Yeah, he just come out and
retired law officer.
And I'm just not meeting all these people. So.
Yeah, me too, man. They're great. So you were saying that you've had at least one experience. Would you like to go into that?
I did have an encounter, and it was so I was deer hunting, and I have been all my life. And it's not so much the hunting; it's being out in the beauty of nature. I mean, it when you're raised up like that, and you go to a place like Bankhead National Forest here in Alabama, where I was at. It's known as the land of 1,000 waterfalls. It's just embellished with the Cherokee people and you can see signs of hundreds of years of Indian marker trees. There's a place called Indian Tomb Hollow where the Cherokee and another band had a battle down there, and when it was all over, the Braves that were in attack, losing the band, They just threw all these bodies in a big old hole. They got marked today where you can't mess it, go around it. But anyway, it's a big forest. Excuse me. It's foothills of Appalachian Mountains, and they end right down here in North Alabama. And it's a beautiful place, and they got a great management area in the national forest. What I mean by management area is it's a place where the game wardens and everybody manages the deer herd. It's acres that are dedicated to the deer herd, and you can only hunt on them certain amount of days, and they do it to keep the population balanced, disease from spreading, and and they fix it up really nice, great place to hunt. I said Bankhead's beautiful anyway, so let's get on with it. In 2017, I've been hunting at this place in Bankhead Forest for about 15 years, man. I was up there all the time, but it got in this one place that I went every time there was a management hunt. I really look forward to it because I had it by myself, man. Like it's a mile long green field, and it's just beautiful. And 10 years, I've seen two people down there. One I brought with me, and the guy was lost. Not because it was hidden. It's just the Bankhead's so big, and the management area is 97,000 acres of just management area on one side.
Wow.
But anyway, so this hunt I was hunting was a management hunt. They lasted 3 days. Um, and it was an either sex hunt, which means you can harvest a doe and a buck.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes you can just harvest does. They however they got it figured out, they decide. So what's best for the herd and everything. So, but this was a either sex means you could take a harvest a female and a male deer. So it was a 3 day hunt. It was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday hunt. And man, I was ready for it too. I drywall contractor. I took off work, got all my stuff together, just excited as a kid on Christmas, and to go to the woods, and especially it's a beautiful place, real special too. And so yeah, got up, everything took care of. Thursday and Friday, get up and drive from wherever up into to the forest, into the mountains. Just turns beautiful. You're out of the city. You're in the beautiful, beautiful big forest. You go to the ranger station. You get there and get your permit for management hunt the morning of the hunt before you go in
Oh,
the
okay.
woods. You got to keep the permit on you all the time too, because they make a lot of money buying tickets. But anyway, it's public land. Just want to say it. So I'm leaving my place. I was living at the time, and take about 30, 40 minutes to get to the ranger station. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You get your coffee, and everybody's in line. You know, getting your permit. Take a little drive through with it, and everybody scatters and then take off into the woods and go to wherever they're going. And so, just like I've done it a bunch of times, and that's what I've done. So when I when I get to my place, after all the management permits, getting and everything, first going into the woods, I get there, about 30 minutes before daylight, just right, hour because opening day on the management area when all these, excuse me, when all these hunters are going into the woods, these when these deer start moving because they'll
Right.
got people going into the woods back in there and a bunch of people, and so the deer they jump them, they scatter, and there's really a lot of action on the first day. Usually, on this day, I went to my place and I'm up front. Everybody goes in the back, and I'm up front, so I get a lot of action because like everything like runs up front, the deer to a bedding area or whatever. If that's where they're going, they'll go. And I've had like them running everywhere. It's crazy. Anyway, excuse me. Get me a drink. I get to my place. I'm set down. I'm walking on foot. I'm hunting on the ground in a tree stand. It's the management area. You can't really put up a permanent stand. And where I hunted at it, I just got behind a cedar tree that was laid down there, big cedar with the green. I just brushed in behind it, so I could see this hollow and this green field on the other side. Because I knew what the deer would do. They'd come out of their bedding area. They would feed across the green field on grass. They would go down in the hollow and forage acorns. This is in January, 1st of February, last hunt. of deer season here in Alabama.
Right.
Last
Right.
management hunt. But anyway, so I'm sitting there, and about 8:30, it gets daylight, about 20, 30 minutes, and here comes two small doe deer, female deer, and one of them's a little bigger than the other one. And I don't know why I always tell they wasn't sisters because uh, when does when they have their fawns, they'll drop two like twins a lot of times, and but then once they'll have a single one or one wouldn't make it. But anyway, these two small doe come down in front of me, and man, just kind of excited. You got movement going. Here's deer moving in front of you. So and they go down, they go past me just like they always would. Feet out of the green field I'm looking at. It's over there about 50, 75 yards. Come down in the hollow, come right in front of me and forwards down through there. And of course, I stood there and watched them because it's always pretty. Let them walk, smile, doe. And I didn't see anything else that morning, um, which I didn't think it was peculiar at the time, but seems strange now because the whole day usually full of action because it's just crazy. But anyway, I ain't saying it's got to be for it, just those two doe was all I seen. Two small doe.
Okay.
So don't see anything else. I'm sitting there about 11 o'clock. Excuse me, y'all. About 11 o'clock, I get up, and I don't live far from my hunting area. So I went back to my house because you don't hunt in the middle of the day. Sit there
Right.
3 or 4 hours, nothing come by. And they usually, they move in the morning and the evening. If
Right.
you ever hunt for a hunter, that's usually what happens. Called prime time, morning
Right.
and
Yeah.
evening
Because
time.
they're nocturnal. They're nocturnal.
So I get up and I got a friend, got some land up there, and I might go by and see him. I might, yeah, I'm fine.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm sitting here at Planet Fitness. I'm sorry, guys come.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries.
So anyway, at lunch I get up and I go to the house and I got a bottle of water, eat lunch, and I'm waiting for the evening hunt. So I'm gonna get back in the woods at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then I'll hunt on till dark. And so I did. I went to the house and I ate lunch, got back up there, decided, and went by and talked to my buddy, seen some hunters on the way, and we just stopped shooting shit. And I got back on into my place and got to sit down real good. Beautiful weekend, all weekend. Um, and But very out of character. And the reason I come back, to something like that, I know those deer work, and they move back to their bed in the evening, got prime time, from the evening till dark, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. But I wasn't sitting there 20 minutes. And um, these two deer I'd seen that morning, these two doe, something come running, blinging, running back at me on my side of the ridge, which never happened before. Usually doesn't happen. I could tell they were deer because you can tell by the quadrupedal hoof, been
Right.
hunting.
Right.
And but first time I thought, well, here comes some deer, and I see these does. They're moving really fast. And I thought, well, buck's chasing. So they're fixing to come by. Same two deer I seen this morning. They're really in a hurry. So I'm hunkering down, get excited. They run up to me when I could get to where I seen them. They didn't. They didn't look like they were trying to. A buck was wrong. They was big eyed. They was spooky. Jittery. You could tell they was
Oh.
running from a predator. And because it's very out of character when you're in a place, so long you can tell animals aren't how they act. So yeah, but I noticed, and I was like, so in Bankhead Forest, we don't have any bears here. We don't have any wolves here. We don't have any big predators that would chase deer in the daylight.
Right.
Coyotes, they hunt in packs, usually at night. Bobcats, might have a mountain lion or cougar if it migrated down here, but very very rare. But anyway, I know these deer come running at me, and man, they run out in front of me and started slowing down almost into a stop, and started just piling around they look at each other and put their head on the ground. One of them looked back and one of them looked at me, and I'm like, what the hell, you know? But animals are weird, you know? So anyway, that went on. They didn't just stay there, but they stopped and held up, like, I don't know. They seen me. And then they took off trotting again together and into a full run right back the way they came that morning into their bed there. I tell they're running from something. So whatever it is, I'm right there. I'm waiting for it to come by. I got 30 Marlin, 190 grains, 11 deer slugs in it, and I'm ready. Yeah,
yeah, dude.
But nothing ever come by or come up where I could see it in my view or nothing. I had a really long view on this hollow. I could see 150 yards with the naked eye. Nothing ever showed itself, or no buck ever come out. I was still thinking of buck because, that's what I just told you. I already know there's no predators going to chase them, but, if something would have come out, I'd either ground checked it or got to see it. But nothing come out for me to see it. And the rest of the day, as them does, went back into the bed there and went down and talked. In my area, there nothing else, seen nothing else that day. Looking back, and I will say that it was quiet. I mean, as far as, and it ain't nothing magical. It's just when a predator is in the area, all of the smaller prey animals instinctively go silent, whether it be a bobcat or whatever. And, you can kind of tell. It's got quiet. And looking back, I realized now, if I sit there and nothing else just almost dawed me to death, I haven't sit there till evening time, but I did. So, okay, that's Friday. That's what happened Friday. And but I brushed everything off, man. I'm hunting. It's my stuff right here. So I go home Saturday, and I had a hunter's orange vest that I just snagged from Walmart, and hey, the moment I didn't have one. Little cheap thing. And you got to wear orange if you're on public land. If you don't know that, let me tell you. If you don't,
I've been there. I think it was something like 150 square inches or something. It was a long time ago.
I would, if some of these people was in the woods, I'd get me a whole snowsuit. That was hunter's orange if I had to make sure, but I'm a sick man. So I mean, these two blade people I've seen all my life that really shouldn't have a gun. They really shouldn't be driving a car. But
some of them.
Anyway, I go home Friday evening, and I of course got in, drank a few beer, called for a couple days of hunting those spots. We told what happened today and stuff like that, and just regular stuff, but ready to go Saturday again. And I did. Got up, went Saturday, got in and had to go to the ranger station. Got in Saturday morning, real nice, just like you want to. Like I said, beautiful weekend. And I'm sitting behind my cedar tree, and at that time, sure enough, here comes a big mature doe. She's by herself, healthy. I'm going to harvest this doe. That's what I'm here for. So I'm going to go ahead and give me this female doe. And I did. It was I got 30, man. She wasn't 50 yards, 40 yards from him.
No problem.
You're able to take a deer with a headshot. It's really better all the way around. Instantly, it extinguishes the animal. It don't suffer it. Plus, you try to shoot your vital, you'll mess it up on the inside, and you got a whole mess to deal with. So luckily, she come down there, 30. I've been hunting with all my life. I shot her right in the ear. Great shot. She went straight down. No suffer, no nothing. She's right in front of him. I thought, here we go. But my buddy is supposed to meet me down there on the land. He's an electrician. I'm a drywall contractor, so he got a call and couldn't make it down there. And I say that because here I am with this big old doe, and I know I'm going to house this thing out of there. Tell my buddy, and so I got to drag it. First thing I did, drag it, get it straight up a hill, and into this green field. But anyway, I get down there, and I've done it before. It's hard work. Let's do it. But anyway, I was able to clear the gut the deer and clean her real nice because I didn't make a shot or tear none of her vitals up. So clean the deer. I just reached up, took like a dipper, just opened her up, a hunt knife, and Reached up, cut her wind tube, reached out and back, cut her angle tube, and windpipe, and the little membrane that holds all her vitals in. Everything come out at one
One
time.
little shot. Yeah, that's good, man.
Nothing in the liver, the lung, the everything, just heart, everything's there. You know, and it's less mess, but there's some blood, but nothing like a few of the gut shot ones. So let's try to explain that because it comes into play here. I get my earbuds staying. Anyway, so I get this deer. So here we go. A little creek running down through the hollow in front of me. I had the deer gut piles laying there in one big, pile, and I start trying to drag this big doe and my rifle and everything up the hill. I threw my shoulder. That's all I could do. I was for about 15, 20 steps and I just plop it down. I lay down beside her and let the rest too. Just, and then go back and get my rifle, carry it on my head. And then come back and get the doe. And it just sounded like a terrible relay up.
Oh, yeah. I've done it too. I had to haul one out, like, I think it was every bit of a mile and a half with my father on the first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We would go through the tendons there and then tie them together with a stick and get a little rope, throw it on our shoulder. In Maryland, I'm from Maryland. We had those shotguns.
I've carried them out.
Just dragging them out the woods. Oh, yeah.
I've carried them out like that too. We've had a really good time. Anyway, so I finally get her up in the field, and I'm in the green field up top. So I'm over here looking level with this green field, and like I said, it's about 75, 50 yards over to 100 yards across to it, no more. And I get in the green field, easy going. I tie something to her, and I had about drug her to the truck. I'm 200 yards total.
Okay.
I get in my truck, and sure enough, I shot her about 8:30. So by the time I get to my truck again, it's about lunchtime. It's about 11. And I'm gonna do the same thing. So now I'm gonna take this doe, drop her off at the processor that does the venison around the house, and then go eat, grab something for lunch. And I've done harvested a doe, so now I'm ready to harvest a buck. And I'm going back for the evening hunt. So I drop her off the processor, go mind my house, same thing, and get to my spot about like I did, the day before, Friday. Walking there about 2:30, and I go to the same place, because it's such a good funnel place for these deer to come to. And I just look around, and I might look for that gut pile, and it's gone. The whole gut pile gone. And I knew I was in the right place. There's, a little hair on the ground, some blood, and you can see where I come up the hill, disturbing leaves and everything. But this gut pile's gone. I realized it was gone. I thought to myself, oh man, what a pack of coyotes has come down here and ate this gut pile, or a bunch of hogs. We got hogs too. It's come down here and ate this gut pile just within that small window. I was gone 2 or 3 hours. I still left out there and left the gut pile. And they last 2 or 3 days until the hunt's over, and they'll still be ravaged by these small, creatures like possums and coyotes, scavengers, birds. I mean, the gut pile gets tore up, the leaves get messed up, and it's the whole thing. But anyway, we always want to make ourselves comfortable, so I wrote it out to a pack of coyotes, run down there and just eat it, and or something. It was gone.
Right.
But try not to think about it because I'm still on the ground. So, I got a gun, so I'm good. But I still just weird. That was really strange. And I sat there. I said, hunt the rest of the day, and there's nothing else comes out and eat. And it's also weird because these hunts are just usually action in the morning agents all the time. You just about pick what you want, to harvest or whatever, because that's how good the management program hunting is. But so I didn't see anything else that Saturday did. I walk out of the woods and I'm perplexed. I'm still down my flat around trying to see if I put the gut pile somewhere or was turned around, but I wasn't. It was gone. Got on the next morning, Sunday morning, last day of the hunt. on management area, last management hunt of the year for Bankhead Forest. And I got up that night, after I got the doe day before, because I got the nipples and everything, because I done sweated and got blood on everything, but I didn't have another hunter's orange to put on. I just used that one. It had blood on it and sending or whatever from that deer that I carried up the heat. I say that because I went back in the woods Sunday morning. Same thing, get back in there about the same time. That I sat all morning, didn't see anything. And I'm about tired of it now. I'm tired of sitting. I've been hunting hard this day. I'm pretty wore out. I still gotta get up and move around. And so my buddy had told me about these waterfalls that are at the end of this beautiful green field that I hunt. His land kind of went around connected to it on the other side of the hollow. He traipsed all around. We always do. But he found these waterfalls. Bankhead land of 1,000 waterfalls. So they refer to it as because they're everywhere and they're really pretty. So I've never been down there to see them. There's about 10 top morning hunts over. I said, man, I'm tired of sitting. I'm gonna stalk hunt down this green field and go look at these waterfalls. Because when you stalk hunt, it's like I got my rifle. I'm going down through the woods, and you're liable to jump a deer. There's liable to be one feeding in the green field, that you can harvest. You never know. It's a really good way to hunt. But
it's called jumping a deer. That's what we called it in Maryland, jumping a deer.
Yes. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're by yourself. We call it stalk hunting. Just jumping one straight in the woods, and just get it. When they come, when they leave, they'll jump. They'll let you right up on them, because like a rabbit crossing the road or something. But anyway, none of that happened, of course. But I was glad I got to harvest the doe this weekend. But I walked on down there to the end of the field just because I was bored and I want to look over the land. And so I walked down the green field and got down there where my buddy was talking about the end of the green field. And the hollow that I was hunting up front, I was telling you about, was 100, 150, 50 yards, across to the green field. It's the starting the main hollow in Bankhead. When I say that, this hollow opens up. Now you can tell them down there, and it's 800 yards wide. When you get on down there, where it opens up into big woods, and so by the time I got down to these waterfalls, it was, and I feel them, and he's right. There was one big one running and one trickling behind it. It's like January, all the leaves off the ground. It's beautiful, scenery, like a picture. And so I walked down there, and there's a log laying down here. And it's up in the field. And I was still on where my green field was where I walked down. So these waterfalls were way across by the time I got down there on the other side of the hollow. So it was 400 or 500 yards over there to the waterfalls, as opposed to one side of the hollow, the other being so small, like where I was hunting. Because I say that because I got up there and I sat down on a log. There's a log fell over, old tree, something fell over right there. And I'm gonna sit down and take me a break. And I did. I lit me a cigarette. I'm sitting there looking at these waterfalls. No noise. I gotta say, looking back, and the noise that everybody talks about when predators in that area, and I never even noticed it until I heard people talking about it, and this happened because there was animals moving all over. It usually is, and birds and squirrels. I mean, everything. But I'm sitting there, and the wind's lightly blowing. There's all leaves on the ground, and it was quiet, really quiet. But I'm looking at these waterfalls, way over there, like a picture. Of course, 2017, I didn't have a cell phone or anything. I think flip phones just come out or whatever. But so I'm sitting there, and I got my gun, and the waterfalls are over here to my right. I said, way across this big old hollow, and the wind is blowing. I'm just sitting there, it's all quiet, and all of a sudden, something steps on a limb, behind me at my, say, if it's my 12 o'clock, it's at my 5 o'clock. It was over my right shoulder and about 10 yards from me.
Okay.
And you know, it wasn't a little twig snap. Something sounded like it stepped on a limb. You know, big around his wrist. Pop. I mean, it was quiet. And when it did, I said, "There was a gun, man." It's the noise scared me, and I startled me. I jumped up. I had to spin around this way because I'm right-handed, you know, and
Right.
because I come up with my rifle. I mean, I'm in hunting mode. I mean, not defense mode or anything. Just I'm in hunting mode. So when it scared me, I come right up with my rifle, my scope, or wheeled around. I had to turn all the way around and see what it was. But you know, when I turned around, what I seen, I couldn't make no sense out of it. I seen it. I seen an 7.5, 8 foot giant man figure, you know, with these massively wide shoulders, with gray hair on it. Um, it was lunging. It's, it, okay, so it stalked up on me. I don't know how it done it. It comes all the way up that vertical hill out of that hollow with leaves on the ground, and it was huge. I never heard nothing until it stepped on that limb. That limb, and when it did, by the time I got wheeled all the way around, if it was gonna do something to me, it had me right there.
Right.
Uh, 'cause- so, but when I spun around, it must have knew what that smoke stick I had my hand on when pow come out of the end of it. I think it scared my gun because it I didn't see it in the face. I caught its profile. It lunged off of this edge of this, you know, hollow, which the gradual there, it was a steep hill. I could jump off a cliff and took off down these. I just seen it, its back like it's. Then it went down on all fours and took off down in this hollow. I run up there. I didn't know what it was, man. I ain't thinking no Bigfoot, Sasquatch, nothing. But I want to see what it was because it's huge and we don't have anything like that. You know, anyway, I just had an instinct. Run up there and looked at it through my scope. I seen what was there. And I threw my scope up. I looked at it and I seen it, you know, go all the way down. The speed of it, I guess I'd compare it to maybe a cheetah you'd see on the National
Wow.
Geographic, you know, going after a gazelle or something. That burst of speed, but all the way down that hill, down across the bottom. He's wobbling, waving up through around trees and stuff up there, going headed straight over them waterfalls. And I got my scope. I'm looking at him. And I'm seeing him everywhere, and he looked like a giant man. I say he looked like a giant orangutan, but it wasn't nothing like no orangutan. It's just the toughest thing I can tell you. I mean, it was, you know, should never been able to move that fast as big as it was.
Right.
It was weird.
You said it had gray facial hair. What
It
did
had no. It had gray. It was gray. You know, you hear white, and after it was over, I got thinking it might have been a white Sasquatch. After hearing
kidding.
reports
Like an
of them
albino.
myself. Yeah,
Okay.
like the one that Finger Thunker does. They call it up there. But anyway, I wasn't even thinking that because I've never been into the whole phenomenon. But it was gray, and it had like coarse hair that, but it was thicker than, like you say, it might have been dirty. I mean, but its hair was coarse and it was long, like all over its body. That's the same. But when it come, like you say, when it come off its arms right there, you know, it was probably 4 inches all over its body, but it was hanging down because when it run, man, I seen it. It was really weird. Just thing, it run like it was set, almost like it was sitting down in a chair. And I know it don't make no sense,
No,
but
so
it
you're
was
saying
never,
like
you know,
the head wasn't
like
bobbing or nothing. It was like floating
no,
almost, kind of.
no, low to the ground like it was on a bicycle. Its feet were freaking propelling it. This huge body. I mean, this thing's already 7.5, 8 foot tall. I know I've done drywall for years. I've thought about this. You know, I don't want to embellish. Try to get, you know, but
Well, drywall's 4x8, right?
that's right. That's right. That's why I say it's four. Shoulders had to be 4 foot
Exactly.
wide. I can sometimes compare it. I compare it to and curious. Like, would you see the head? Did you see the head? I've seen the head. a little profile when I just caught him lunging off of that thing running away. But, when he got going down through there, the kid had a little head, but it looked like a football head on top of a refrigerator. Does that make sense? Just, his head had to
Yeah.
be sitting down into these massive shoulders. Here's a strip. This is a full-grown male. I say it was a male. It is a male. You can tell male. I
Right.
have to say it's
I can
front up.
imagine. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
and the whole feeling
Yeah.
I get from this thing is that he was a young male. Maybe time for him to go out and find his own territory. And was in my area. That 3 days, he was hungry. He's a ratty, like mangy. Hair was mad. That kid been sleeping.
Yeah.
Like if I get kicked out of the house, 2 or 3 days. Anyway, just but when he turned it on, anyway, he went across. Like I said, it's 400 or 500 yards over them waterfall. That's a straight shot. So you imagine he'd run all the way down and cross the bottom of that hollow, and he headed straight for the waterfalls. And there was a game trail going right up beside these waterfalls. You can see over there where the leaves been beat and it's nothing but dirt. And up that by them waterfalls he went on the other side of that hollow, and on the other and over the other side, and and he never looked back. Thank God. I mean,
Wow.
I never really had a kind of seen him straight in the face like Daryl did or like Carry On did. And I'm proud. And after hearing their encounters, I'm proud I didn't. But
Right.
to be able to see it like I did, it's amazing looking back at it now.
Yeah. Do you think that, like, if you wouldn't have heard this, the twig snap, it was trying to do maybe something nefarious, something bad?
So this is what I come to find out. I thought it was stalking me, gonna eat me. This terrible thing is fear that gets in you. And especially not knowing about these creatures. When something like this happens to somebody, that's why I say go down the rabbit hole. I did the same thing on YouTube, and I'm trying to find everything. That's how I ended up finding
Yeah.
Daryl and everything. But anyway, I had on my hunter's orange. I'd carried that doe up day before. It's the only thing I had on, but it had that blood, sinew, and hair, and smell all over it.
Right.
The wind was lightly blowing, when I was sitting on that log, and I'm sure that it carried that scent down into the hollow because that's how Bankhead is, It echoes like, I didn't, when that thing was running off looking back, I don't know how they got a way they stay quiet and they know how to do it. And let's just put it like that. They got abilities, I'm
They're
not going to
masters
go
of their
there.
domain. They're
They
masters of
are,
their domain. That's their
they
house.
are. That's right. And they're in touch with the forest where we have put on shoes. The things we are in touch with still are. Think about how domesticated we've come. They're out there all the time. They're covered in this hair, which is like a vibration sensor. Yeah, anything,
Right.
they're aware, and their abilities to blend into the background and whatever environment they're in. They're made that way.
Yeah, they're amazing. Did
They're just
you
like a deer. Just like a deer.
so
A
after
deer
you seeing it?
deer can lay down in.
Yeah, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
please.
Go ahead. You're fine, bro.
I was saying, like, so it ran up the game trail by the waterfall there, and then you
Yes.
didn't see it no more, kind of ran out of your
And yes.
sight.
Right. So
And then
it just goes up
what did
very
you do? How did you process that in your head at that
well.
moment?
What I did was I never perplexed, and yeah, I get momentary shock because it all happened so fast. Now it stepped on that limb, looking back, I believe on purpose. It smelled the hunter's
Wow.
orange, blood on the hunter's orange. This is what I figured out looking back. Thought I was a wounded deer, and got the whiff of that blood coming off down through the hollow and stalked up there to me. But there was sage grass had come up that was really thick, about 4 foot wide. And he's already come up my there. Like if he was crawling up, in the surface, I mean, crawling on the ground belly, trying to stalk up on something. And I
Right.
don't think he done that stick was intentional. He done it because he couldn't tell what I was. And he probably thought I was a wounded deer.
Oh,
And
wow.
when I jumped up, he seen I was a hunter with a gun or whatever, wasn't a deer. You know, he run like he for his life. He thought like I was going to shoot him. I mean,
Right.
anyway,
Right, because
yeah.
he probably seen, or at least he might even eaten that gut pile there, and he's seen that
It,
you were able to
oh yeah,
harvest the deer.
yes,
So in his
yeah,
head, why not harvest him?
that. Or well, he thought he smelled that hunter's orange and knew I was hunting in that area. He probably thought that I'd shot a deer and wounded it, and he smelt it but couldn't see it. Was stalking by smell alone from the hunter's orange. Then when he seen that
Right.
I was the hunter and I had this gun, I think he said, "Oh,
And all
wrong,"
went, whoops.
like he
Yeah.
accidentally grabbed a rattlesnake or something to him. I mean, they turned
Yeah,
around
but you didn't see
and
the
took up.
face. You seen it on the sideways
No,
view.
no, that's not a sideways view, but I would tell you they say about what they want to about a Gigantopithecus or whatever kind of ape or whatever, but I mean, that's something else to these things. You know, they're I don't know how they're part human because they just are. You can tell.
You can
I
feel
mean,
it.
you can
Yeah.
feel it. You can feel it. It's not like a bear. It's not like looking at an ape. It's a zoo. It's a totally different culture.
Wow.
A
That's interesting.
wilder.
So when you left out of there, then so you left to go home.
Yeah.
What was
So
that like?
here's what happened. So let me get back to and I get
Sure.
sidetracked now when trying to
No
explain what
worries. No
happened. But
worries,
anyway,
man. We got all the time.
it goes down. It goes down. It crosses the hollow. And like I said, it was the weird way it moved. It hands were huge. You know, that like a I say for a rack of bananas, but because it was huge, had its arms straight out in front of it, using its big massive fingers like to I don't know, man, like balance it out. It was weird running, and it goes across the hall. It goes up and it disappears on the other side. And I'm just like, what was that? But because I'm going through the Rolodex in my head of things we've got in our area, and we don't have anything. Like I said, we don't have any bears. We don't have anything that big, you know, um, or anything like that. So when it's about 20 steps, everything's starting to come to me now. It wasn't what I'd seen. I said,
Right.
hey, this is, yeah, you know, I'll go right back and all of a sudden flashback the two doe running down there to me. These things that were very out of sorts. And happening that weekend, I'll flash back to two doe. I could just flash back, see them spooky running. I thought, oh, I know what was taking y'all's
It's
running from
playing
now.
like
Why everything
a movie in your head, kind of like
yeah,
you're just like
yeah,
everything's getting
backwards.
pieced together. Yeah.
Yeah, but backwards to the whole weekend. And
Right.
I'm walking up the Greenfield. I've been in this place 10 years, man. I got a loaded gun. I'm still not scared, but that realization that these creatures have been there this whole time. They're in a lot of places, and I've hunted all my life. I've been freaked out and creeped out before and couldn't realize why. Maybe that was it looking back. But on this
Right.
trip, I come back to one my gut pile was gone. The whole thing like somebody picked up and walked away with it. And that's exactly what I think happened. I think he
Yeah.
sat there and watched. I heard the shot. I think he sat there and watched me, which creeps me out. Clean that deer and
He's
that whole
watching you.
gut pile, and it's just like, all right, he made this whole thing. It's nice, and I just made a leave. But the thought of him sitting there watching me that whole time, with the deer doing everything I done, um, and then coming down and getting it, and just picking it up, and walking away with it.
Right.
And then, so by the time it wasn't about a mile walk back to my truck to the road, where I was at. And I can't tell you what happened. I was thinking about everything walking back to my truck, but I still wasn't really scared because they say, well, there might be two or three of them. Well, no, there wasn't. There was this one. I know this, but I'm, hunting all my life. Just like I know if it was one bear there or whatever. It's just it didn't even have it didn't have the woo factor about it associated with a bunch of them. I still get that feeling. I got the feeling this is a half man, half whatever, feral, part human species of these things that, been recorded hundreds and hundreds of years back if you look at it now. But and he was in my area at that time, and was smart enough to get food and do what he had to do to survive, like they do,
Right.
like wild creatures do, feral creatures do. So I'm getting kind of creeped out going back to when I got time I get to the main road. My truck was at. And when I come out on the road, it was about lunchtime again. You know, the time and everything, I was coming out about lunch. But it was the last day of hunt, and there's another gate. People go into that one gate. Well, there was the game warden, of course, checking license, make sure you have your permit. You know, writing tickets, whatever. That's what they do.
Right, what they're
And
supposed to be doing.
sure, not. And but I walk out, and I'm still, like I said, I'm in. We started donation. Get this guy a muffler right here. He got a $50,000 truck. Can't afford $100 muffler. Anyway, I come out on the woods. Come out of the woods. Sorry. I come out
No
of the
worries.
woods and you know, I hit the road and there's a game warden. There's some more hunters standing around. You know, I'm walking out there. Like, what the hell? No. But so I wasn't thinking about it. Nothing. I just right out, walked out to the game warden. You know, a couple guys around. Hey man, y'all have these? Y'all have Bigfoot in this wood on these mansions? There's Sasquatch on these mansions. Of course, I realized what I said about that. It come out of my mouth. And the two guys are sitting there just looked up at me like, with a weird look, and the game warden kind of looked at me. I said, man, I started telling I think what I'd seen down here. He said, I said, cut me off. He said, oh, you probably just seen a feral dog. He said, they used to dog hunt up here for deer, and a bunch of them got left up here when we closed it down to a management area, and we see them all the time. I look at him like, dude, that is the quickest and most bullshit thing I ever heard somebody just spit out to avoid a question in my life. I mean, really, man, I'm a damn contractor. I know somebody's bullshit, and it's what he's doing. You totally brushed me off. And I wasn't going, at the time, get any confrontation or pissing contest with the game warden right there in the middle of, you know, these other guys also looked at me like I was nuts. So I just kind of shook my head and looked at my dog, you know, all the way up. I got my truck, you know, and left. And, you know, drive home. So after they reacted to what I said, the way they done, I realized the whole, which are people that are skeptical or had never had an encounter with these things or don't know about everything that we know that's on YouTube, like MK Davis, Daryl, I mean, all these people, Martin, you know, these skeptical people don't have no idea at
Right.
the Dr. Jeff Meldrum, for God's sake. Let's keep on going to the real scientists and professionals that can't deny that whatever it is real. And I say that, let me just bring this up, because my brother, after all this I went through, I've never told my family. I've never just said, I was like, hey, you know, this happened to me. Because Bankhead, I hunt by myself. After all this time, my brother finally sees my encounter on YouTube, or somebody tells him about it. And he asked me about it the other day. It's 2017. We hunted together all our life. I never tried to tell my family and my boys, I think, no, you know. But anyway, that's just what I'm saying. Skeptics going, you know.
Yeah, I think
I'm not
everyone's a
saying
skeptic. I think everyone's a skeptic until they're faced with the reality of certain things.
that's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Now,
you don't know, like
yeah,
me,
sure.
like people
You
would
could,
say poltergeist, oh, that's not real.
right,
Well, I've had an encounter with poltergeist, and I'm going to tell
right.
you,
I bet.
shit is real, dude. It's real.
I know, bro. Let me tell you
Yeah,
something.
I'm with you.
I had 8,000 followers, I think, on TikTok, and I've been online since these smartphones come out because it totally impressed me. I'm thinking, hey, it's like Star Trek, you know. Anyway, I got into TikTok and everything, and you know, I had 8,000 followers on there, big account. I just, after I got into realizing that, open your mind and look at what is real. Quit trying to explain things off, because it's easier to accept the fact that now the veil is thin, no matter what.
Somehow, yes.
Yes, in places especially. And
Yeah.
and so I just cut down. I joined the paranormal community on TikTok, and I ain't building up TikTok. I'm just saying there's some like-minded people and groups of them, just like Daryl's group. You know, 50,000
Yes.
people. When my brother confronted me and said, "Oh man, you really believe in these things?" Like he's actually saying was, Man, you must be crazy running around talking about this thing. I said, man, let me tell you something. He wouldn't have no part of me telling up things on YouTube that are real because so many hoaxes. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm in a group. There's almost 50,000 people in there I moderate. So now what do you get to say to that? And shut him right up.
No kidding.
I mean,
Isn't that crazy that some people somebody needs a statistic like that instead of believing their own brother?
Well,
instead of like believing you?
It just blew him away. And I'm afraid because, I'm assuming he left and realized that because he realized right then that happened to me. It happened because we brothers. I just tell you, I know he did. And then when he drove away, I ain't gonna talk to him about it. He probably think about some things that have happened to him because just like I am, I always listen. I promise you, he's had some stuff happen. He said, I don't know what that was. Now
right, like if something happens, like it's real quiet, you hear a sound, you hear an animal that you've never heard before, and you kind of just brush it off. Oh, it's this or it's that, and then all of a sudden, someone has an encounter that's in the family, and he's like, "Well, maybe, I can imagine that, man, definitely."
Yeah, because he knows me, right? I mean, he knows I'm his little brother. He's been trying to get over my life all his life. But anyway, but as far as my experience, looking back, so the place I told you I lived outside of Bankhead Forest, I was always kind of in a rural area. I raised my boys out there, and I had a mobile home out there, and you go to build a house. But I was contractor in construction. I was out there one night, and I'll tell you two things I know happened that I believe were these things, but I didn't know it till this happened. I was in my house one night, and I'm right. There's little finger woods that run down, about my land, which is not in Bankhead Forest. It's on in a little country place, like between Decatur, which is a city, and like another city. But one night, I'm laying there in my little mobile home. And man, it sounded like there was two owls right outside of my window, and they were screaming at each other right outside my trailer window. My trailer's in a field, but man, it was owls. Sound just like cows if they was big as cows and was perched right on top of my little trailer right above my window because it almost broke the glass. I come up, like, God damn, these things are huge, and they're right here at my window. They must be sitting on top on my trailer, which is crazy. Owls don't do that. They would never be that close together and screaming back and forth. They sure wouldn't be perched on my top of my mobile home, middle of a field. They're owls. But anyway, I marked out the owls because we want to be comfortable. So if we can explain anything now and make sense out of it, not be something weird, that's what we're going to do.
I had a guy on, Derin, I had a guy on, if you go back and check my catalog, who got attacked by a giant 10-foot owl with a 30-foot wingspan in Indiana. Crazy encounter.
I have never heard. I can't wait to see it, though, because that interests me. And the interesting things that I found that are in the woods that I posted in the group, and I don't know if somebody took it down the other day. We had some confusion in the moderator, but I'll find it again. There's got a freaking 50, 60-pound owl, white barn owl. Man, it's 3 feet tall. She's sitting there running down, hold it up with all her might. They've raised this thing. It just got huge. So it's Bigfoot believes in other creatures. So most times I'll post other creatures, which that we're lighting up. And he's welcoming everything, the paranormal.
Did you see the owls? Did you see the owls, or you just heard them?
No, I heard. It wasn't owls. It might be someplace. It might be one that big somewhere. Somebody. No, they wasn't two of them right outside my window. Something else. I believe.
Right. Because they can hit. Because so no worries. So you're saying
they were fucking with me,
Yeah, I'm sure. Because did this happen after your encounter?
No, before.
So
maybe 2 years before. When I first got to my land, I believe they come up out of that hollow and they just fuck with me. I believe young ones do like the Indian braves used to do, like they would challenge each other. Maybe like you and I were teenage boys,
Right.
One of the things the Indians used to do is when the grizzly bear stuff come out of hibernation, they'd be all groggy and stuff. Well, they made a brave game out of it to go up and slap one of these grizzly bears on the ass and keep on running while you're still in your state of coming out of hibernation, which I guess you're bored, when you're ending in
Yeah.
the woods of South America. No
Can I
pun
ask you about the
intended, because
sounds? Can I ask you about the sounds? So you say it's
yes,
an owl, but it's not exactly like an
no,
owl, right? It's like
no,
something imitating.
no, these two sounded exactly like owls, but they were right outside of my window. If they were looking in, I was laying in a little couch, under the window. And the paper thin whole mobile home walls. I'm down here in Alabama. They ain't, we get that colder weather. And
Right.
I jumped out. I was like, and I didn't go out because this first thing ever happened I can remember. And I was like, holy shit, these owls. And then they shut up and they was gone. And I went back to sleep.
So,
but that happened looking back.
It's so crazy.
About
So the question I
a year
have that I
after.
think everyone that's going to have is: did you ever return back to the place in which you had your sighting?
No, I haven't been hunting since.
Have you been able to hunt? No,
not yet, but I'm getting it. I
okay,
probably
man.
won't hunt anymore. I'm kind of over killing things. I'm
Well, that's
really,
fine.
I mean, yeah, right.
Well, if you do go,
yeah,
go with somebody that you trust. Go with
right.
somebody. Make sure that you're armed.
Yeah,
and make sure that you're prepared.
Which is crazy because I've been hunting all my life by myself, traps that I never can until this happened. And then I look back, the 2 hours. When I woke up about, I don't know, I remember 8 months. That wasn't long after that, wasn't quite a year. Something shaking my mobile home. Still this little mobile home is rocking back and forth. First thing, at the same time I'm asleep, I wake up, I got buddies across the street. We mess with each other. We could trust where I thought him and his brother got drunk and they was over there rocking my truss. First thing I thought of when it woke me up. And I thought, that's crazy. That wasn't Dickie and them. I must have had a little seismic earthquake tremor right there on my 1 acre of land in Alabama. Only place, just happened right here. Because you won't write things off. But
I've heard that before too. I've heard that before
I
too.
think they come
People
up
with
rock
mobile
trailer.
homes, and they'll like rock you. Yeah, I've heard this.
But they wasn't there constantly. There was just a little hollow that run up by my place. I believe they traveled through there a time or two, and maybe them two that was messing with me, the owls, later on, hey, let's go fuck with him again. Let's wake him up again and start shaking trailer maybe. But anyway, that's the only two things. But
That's pretty crazy,
after
though, man.
2017, it is right. But creepy as fuck. Yeah.
What?
Because
just a little bit of advice for you. I think since you're still dealing with this, which we've talked about PTSD before we got on the show. I think you going out there with a well-trusted friend, well-armed sidearm, a nice high-powered rifle, something that you're comfortable with, going there, at least walking to the waterfall, even if you're there for 5 minutes, take it in, turn around and walk back out of the woods. It might help you a little bit, man.
Everybody goes back. Everybody goes back. You have to. Daryl finally Carry on finally went back, and because if you watch his encounter, he tells about the whole story, and then in the 2-hour episode, he goes back to the place, which is
the one
just
with
gotta
Daryl
watch
was on
it,
his
creepy.
grandfather's farm. It was on his
It was
grandfather's farm.
Daryl was on Daryl was on his grandfather's farm. Kerry was renting. It was on a place called the Garways down in Mississippi. That their family never went out there. It was 100 acres. It was like never used, disturbed, or like never bothered. So it's a perfect place for these things, except for Kerry going in there hunting. And when they would motivate around this hunting area, since he was the only one that had the lease on it, I guess when he come into places they didn't want him, they would do their own methods of turning him away, making sounds, drawing his attention to, to hear him tell it. He looks back and it's, again, like I said, you can't learn enough from people when you go through it and then you start hearing what different people say and you say, oh man, it kind of happened to me. I went out after the encounter. After the encounter, I went out to my cousin's house. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, if you got any questions, man, anything from me?
Yeah, I was going to say, have you ever listened to the Sasquatch Chronicles from Wes Germer?
Oh yeah, I've talked to Wes on the phone. I was supposed to be on. I was going to go on the show, but it was at the time I got through carrying this podcast, and he was really busy, like he's blowing, and then Les Stroud come into the scene, so I hadn't talked to Wes since then.
Okay.
But I was on Sasquatch Chronicles with Miguel.
Yes.
You know.
Okay, please. So
Great.
you went to your
Great.
cousins? I think you were saying you went to your cousin's house.
No, I was going to tell you that. You know, after the encounter, I've had a couple more things happen. Almost give me the feeling that I was maybe the same marked or tagged. But I just think that when you realize how these creatures mimic owls, the tree knocks, if I heard them, I always marked off to like a woodpecker. You know, we got these big, red-headed woodpeckers
Yes.
that don't drill, they peck and they'll knock the bark off of the tree to get to the grubs and they're real big. Anyway, I marked everything off to something natural. No, nothing like that. If looking back, but I was at my cousin's house. I was telling you, he lives out in a place called Brewer, really mountain of salsa. Going the other way here in Alabama, I was out there. Me and a girl dropped out there. It's my uncle, my cousin's land. He marked there on my lap. I get out of the truck. She goes on in the house, and she closes the door. And when she does, these two things out in this field start whistling at one another really loud. I put it on my first TikTok because I knew exactly that was whatever it was, wasn't there. That I know that. I've kind of figured out what it was. And then they made that owl call back and forth to one another, man. And one of them was trying to find him. My uncle had a barn up here, they Tennessee walking horses. It's kind of where it comes from, the barn. But the other one answered him down in the field, started off as an owl and ended up as a growl, like a man.
Right. I've heard that
So
too.
when
Where
that
it's like
happened,
in the middle, it changes. Yes.
Yeah, they'll finally mess up because, it would too. I mean, like I said, it was amazing. But I knew right then, and we stayed there all night. I automatically pulled out my phone, started recording. I'm like, hey, y'all, I'm on my cousin's porch, and this is happening. Of course, they didn't make another sound, that I could get on recording. So that happened. A couple of things happened. That after you had the encounter, things that happened before were these creatures maybe, or you'd been around them. I ain't saying I'm tagged or anything because,
You know these terms. Cool.
Daryl, man, the encounter he had, and then to meet up with the clan later on that he almost befriended. That's such a sad story when he comes back and they've done
right, and the trees are
cleared the
gone.
land. That broke my heart.
Yes. Yeah, I've had him on my show. We talked about it. Yes.
Did me too, bro. And it's something I never heard before. So, tell my man, got some character. I mean, Daryl, I can't. I was so happy to meet him after kind of lost carry on. He just come in like, "Damn, we're still here for you," and just took me in to the group, and everything hearing his story is amazing. All of them are. Till the end of Daryl's story, when these things get mad at him for going and trying to, get them off problems off his people's property, and they followed him back to the house.
They stalked him. Yes.
Stalked him back to his house, walking on his porch.
He was sitting in his front chair. He was sitting in his front chair, waiting for him to come in. We had his
right. And Martin
then he rebuked him. He called Scott Carpenter and rebuked him,
which is amazing. Right. The whole thing, Scott Carpenter. I come through it. It's amazing. And Daryl, I say that so many times. Even when I commented to Miguel, because Miguel from Sasquatch Theory, really good Christian guy, he's a really good guy. And I love his boot on the ground way he does everything. And great be on his thing. But I tell him, rebuking these things off of the property, find out to cure. Scott Carpenter.
You're breaking up a little bit, but you're breaking up a little bit. Rebuking off the property. Yes. It's not your fault, man. It's an internet situation.
I'm sorry, probably I got too comfortable. I'll have to keep talking. But anyway, that's another thing too. Are they all the same creatures? Because when I see pop his head up and Scott Carpenter video and had it go pro camera facing back, there's nothing like what I've seen. It was something else.
Right. You have like the conical shaped ones, and then you have the ones that Daryl's seen where they had like the chiclet teeth and it had more of a bigger mouth, and then you have the skunk ape and you have the yeti. There's different names. There's forest people. There's so many different. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a wild situation.
Lay down and I'll say this. I got to mention Lanita Bryant because me and her became friends. She's only on Instagram. She's like a bunch of people and on Facebook. I don't like, especially when you're doing what she's doing. They've been around her on the property. She had, and since she was 20 or 19, 21 years old, and she bought a cabin there. She's Oxford, Alabama. She hosts a Alabama Bigfoot conference. If you look on the group page, everybody was there. All the hometown monsters, Todd Standing, everybody goes to her place because she's got these things on her place that are not like what I just described. There's
Well, do me a
something
favor.
else.
Do me a favor, Derin. Can you send me if you get time? Send me a link. I can grab Daryl's link. No
Yes.
problem. I know Daryl. I can grab Martin Groves. I know him. But you can grab me
Right.
these other people that you've been mentioning, and I can put
Yes.
their links in that way people can go through and check out their
Right.
experiences, their encounters, and their research. That way they can make their own distinctions instead of listening to some science bigwig sitting up there at Harvard who thinks he knows.
So, and Lanita Bryant is your sweet Southern, very moral manners aunt that's the salt of the earth, and that's just how she is. There's no truth in her at all. But she's
That's
got
great,
these
man.
pictures. That's why the whole community flocked to her place because she's got these creatures. Their faces are coming out of trees. She's got orbs everywhere.
I'm a contactor. I'm a contactor. You
Yeah,
give me the name.
Lanita Bryant.
Give me the name after.
I
What's the
will.
name again?
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link
Send me
where
the
she's
link.
on the podcast. I will, brother.
Yes.
It's
I'd love to talk to her. I love it.
Yeah, and so anyway, then you'll see. You just see Lanita's she's a great person, but she won't come on Facebook. It's the whole drama of the whole thing. But I know a bunch of people in the group that knows Lanita. Don't until they say, "Oh, me and Lanita are friends," and just but she's expired guns, but I guess she's just that type of woman. Good old Southern lady that
Well, man,
don't care if nobody talks to her. Don't say about her, never has. Her truth is what's right there in front of her and you to see.
Exactly. Dude, I want to thank you so much for sharing this with me today. I hope it helps you a little bit, and I'm going to tell you that I believe you. I do believe
it
you.
Happens a lot. It happens a lot. It happened a lot. And I ain't usually like this on one podcast. I was usually nervous, but when you've been talking, I thank you. Your service, number one.
Thank
you,
you,
see
sir.
my American hat I put on just for the cat.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir. I've done funeral detail as well. I've done 21 gun salutes, casket, folding the flag, waited there in the snow and the rain until the flag left with the family members in their car. We don't mess around, man. We don't mess around. We do what we have to do.
Bro. I know y'all did. Y'all get it on too, and we couldn't be prouder of all of you. That's speaking for me and most of the Americans in this country. And that's no bullshit. That's the truth, bro. So anyway, man, I hope we can talk again. I would really like to get Daryl on here because I've never spoken to Daryl. We're supposed to meet at the conference, and then we sat and met, get a talk.
Maybe we'll set something up where it's me, you, and Daryl, and we'll have like a live, and we'll just talk about
it. Or maybe people come in and talk to him and we'll set something up soon.
Yeah,
man,
we can do
thanks
that
for having me on.
No problem. It was my pleasure.
Laid back atmosphere. I hope I didn't talk too much.
No, you were great. What are you talking about, dude? It was great.
Right, bro.
So thank you so much for coming on, man. And we'll talk about that, and I'll contact Daryl and see what he's thinking. Okay.
Yeah. I think we're coming up on 50,000 in these 4 years into this group. Maybe panel. Maybe wherever we do.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there, man. Thank you so much, and have yourself a wonderful evening, Derin.
All right, everybody sees this, hello group and everybody else. Y'all subscribe to this podcast.
No, thank you. All right. So that was Derin Franks, a wonderful Derin Franks, to come on to share that incredible encounter. Like I was telling Derin during the podcast, like a lot of people are skeptics and doubters. There's nothing wrong with being skeptic. There's nothing wrong with being a doubter. But don't go into the face of somebody and point your finger in their face when you don't know, when you haven't had the experience yourself. There's people who's had personal experiences with God, people have personal experiences with Jesus, connection with the earth. There's people who had experiences that you may not have had. Does not mean that they're incorrect or that they're wrong. So it's very important to be humble and to listen to what people have to say. You know what I mean? That's very important. And that's what we do here at the podcast. I hope you guys keep coming back. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And remember, you're watching the eye. We are the eye. I'll get it one of these days, guys. We are the Eye of Jupiter. We are the Eye, and we are aware. Love you all. Have a wonderful day.